blessed good morning to all, and welcome to Tuesday in the week of Lent 5 as we move ever closer to Holy Week. Holy Week begins next Sunday, Palm Sunday, and moves into the glorious week as we share with our Lord in His Passion. From time to time, persons often ask what is happening at the college, and we normally would have some retreats on. This year we are doing something a little bit different, and that is that the 3 first days of the week, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday of the week, as Holy Monday, Holy Tuesday, and Holy Wednesday, we will be going into silence as a college. And we're inviting persons to come and join the seminarians as they experience the moments of silence as we go through our meditations and walking in silence and just sitting in silence and having the whole experience of being in silence. And those of us who would normally come around the college and share in Holy Week, we would welcome you to do this with us. On Tuesday of Holy Week, we will be moving away from the college and we will be venturing out to Cocoa Hill Forest. That's in St. Joseph. It's a beautiful natural space, and we'll be spending the day there in silence, exploring nature and just being with nature, sitting and writing and reading and reflecting and listening to what God is saying to us. And again, we would invite persons to join us at Cocoa Hill Forest. There is an admission for adults. I believe it's $25, and I guess you'd have to bring your own lunch. But we're hoping to be there from early in the morning so we can catch those early energies from around 7 or thereabouts, and be able to spend most of the day there in silence again and meditation. So Monday and Wednesday we'll be at the college in silence, but Tuesday we'll be venturing to Cocoa Hill Forest again to be in silence. There is a lot to be said about silence, and we want to explore some of this. We've had a really packed year, and we just came out of a 3-day webinar in which there was a lot of food for thought. And so we want to take some time to just process that and to be with God in the stillness. We encourage persons who may be coming any of those days to bring some writing material that you can write your thoughts. It's advisable not to do too much reading because you don't want to fill yourself with information. You more want to see what's within and what is able to come out during those times. So we encourage persons to join us for this Holy Week. We really would love to have you with us in our energy and we in your energy, so that we can together explore our time together in this time of the year. So we now turn to our time of meditation as we go into our silence and find that inner space, that beautiful, peaceful space. And we open ourselves to it, coming into our hearts with gratitude, breathing into our hearts and breathing out. Feeling that sense of stillness and presence. Knowing that God is here with us. God is in our midst. Knowing that we are connected to each other. We're at one with each other. Seeking to build those bridges of connection. Seeking to reach out in light and love. we're here, we're in this space, we're in this energy, and we're giving thanks. Thanks for this peace, this quiet. Thanks for this life, this opportunity as we breathe in and out, as we draw within us that divine presence, as we feel more and more connected, not only to God but to each other, recognizing how disconnected we are from each other at times. So we expand to embrace and connect with each other. And so turning to our scriptures, we are continuing the passage that spoke about the man who was born blind and Jesus healed him. And there is all sorts of confusion. Even his parents are called in to determine if this was their son and how it is that he is able to see. And they finally got rid of him and they drove him out of the temple. So Jesus heard that they had driven him out, and when he found him, he said, "Do you believe in the Son of Man?" He answered, "And who is he, sir? Tell me so that I may believe in him." Jesus said to him, "You have seen him, and the one speaking with you is he." He said, "Lord, I believe," and he worshipped him. Then Jesus said, "I came into this world for judgment so that those who do not see may see, and those who do see may become blind." Some of the Pharisees near him heard this and said to him, "Surely we are not blind, are we?" Jesus said to them, "If you were blind, you would not have sinned. But now that you say, 'We see,' your sin remains." It's amazing the way Jesus is able to bring before us some real important messages and understandings. In this healing of the blind man, the story unfolds and unfolds and unfolds. It shows the reluctance of individuals to accept the man as a person. It shows the reluctance of persons to accept the power of God that is in the midst. It demonstrates the fact that persons are oftentimes jealous of what others are able to accomplish. So they're taking this man to task because he is sharing about his experience. It's not something that somebody told him about. It is something he had experienced. He experienced the power of God in his life, and he was delighted about this. But individuals had an issue with him. And what Jesus says towards the end of this passage is, it is amazing that you say you can see, but your very statement indicates that you're blind. And I think this is the power of this passage. And this is why I'm holding that theme this week of unbind and let go. There's so many conditions in our world where we are in bondage and we don't even realize that we are in bondage. We're in bondage sometimes to ideologies. We're in bondage to doctrines. We're in bondage to societal norms or cultural practices. We're in bondage to ideas that have been shared through the years. And oftentimes we don't realize how these ideas, these areas of bondage impact our lives and cause us not to be able to see that which is just right there in front of us. We journey in blindness. And Jesus offers the question in another place, can the blind lead the blind? Would they not both fall into a ditch? Yet, many times we're not aware of our own blindness. And I believe part of the spiritual journey, part of the work that you and I are called to do, is to explore the areas in our lives where we are blind, where we have just followed, where we have just accepted, and we haven't even thought for ourselves. We haven't sought for ourselves. We haven't explored. And it's interesting because we quote the mystics, we quote persons of faith, and one of the things that we fail oftentimes to recognize is that these men and women of faith, they went off on their own and they engaged God. Or they had revelations come to them. Oftentimes, this was not as a result of a tradition. This was just an encounter with God. An encounter with God that caused scales to fall from person's eyes and allow them to see. So oftentimes you hear that image of scales falling from person's eyes so that they could see. And these are persons that would have thought that they were seeing. And I think this happens to all of us when we begin the spiritual journey. I am, in my own journey, I've gone through my own experience of having scales fall from one's eyes and begin to see the world from a totally different place. But see, the challenge is that when you see the world from a different place, you can't not see it from a different place. And so, no matter how much persons may want you to return to that place before, you can't. And that's the situation here with this man. He was in blindness. He is now able to see. And his see is not just a physical sight. His see is a particular depth. This seeing that he's now doing is a particular depth. He's able to perceive a lot more than just his physical eyes. So he sees. He sees clearly. And he speaks of what he sees. When there's that awakening, when that happens to us in our journey, there's no turning back. And even here, the man was willing to accept being tossed out because he couldn't undo what was done. He couldn't put himself back in the box of blindness. But here are the others who are supposed to be able to see, and they are in their box, filled with their own blindness, thinking that they can see. We are called to see to leave the darkness behind, to leave the scales behind, and to see afresh. The example of Jesus is one of being called out from that which is the accepted norm and being able to see differently. And with the understanding that over time, those who have walked the path, who have seen and have shared what they have seen, their words, their ideas have oftentimes been reinterpreted by persons who cannot see. But because of their positions within the community, they're listened to. But they haven't caught the vision. They pretend that they have. They interpret it in ways that suits their purpose. And many follow. So the constant call to see is an invitation to take responsibility for one's own journey. We can journey with others. We can benefit from that knowing. We can live in community. But we must take responsibility for our journey. We must do our work to unbind ourselves and be free. With that freedom comes the opportunity to be used by God. And that's why we're here. There's a purpose for our being here. But we can't recognize that purpose unless we are free to receive it, to listen, and to see what is truly before our eyes, and not what others tell us is there. If it is that we have to depend on others telling us what's there, then that's a testimony of for sure that we are in blindness. So the ability to see for ourselves is really the ability to be able to chart our own path. And in charting our own path, we're able to discern for ourselves what is important, what it is that we must do. But we can only do that if we are not blind, if we are not bound, if we can see, if we are free.